What up, what up, what up?
Happy Friday!
God damn, let me do my thing, yo. Happy Friday, happy Friday. Yo, like, get off my... Like, now you want to jump up and do it?
Yes, because you took it away from the people, and the people were sad, so I'm bringing it back.
You should have brought it back the freaking last few episodes I didn't do it.
I got nothing.
Exactly. Exactly. You could have had the shine. You could have taken over the torch.
Rise and shine.
What is going on, everyone? I'm Shadell, co-host of Paging the Simpsons. I'm joined by my coughing fiance.
Oh my gosh, I was choking on saliva. Don't you hate that? Hi, I'm Lauren.
Very, yeah.
Man, everybody does that. Don't even act.
Like, you can cough us.
Okay, that just got very X-rated. Why the fuck did you just do that? What? Why did you just do that?
I mean,
if your family listens to this,
you do the ball. I just made the shot. Like, that's all.
That's also dirty. Stop it. Stop it.
Yo, you just made it so easy for me to dunk it.
Can you? All right, I'm done.
Oh man.
I'm done here.
Woo! What is going on, everyone? Man,
rant time.
This episode is something that we just have to share because over the we're in October, last 10 months, I feel like a lot has happened where people have made these comments to us, which I'll touch on in just a brief moment. People have made comments, and it's just like, dog, do not shame my relationship. All right. So, to all my couples out there that are not married, that have been together for a year,
but you're
2,
in a committed,
3,
long-term relationship.
4 plus, you've been together for a long time. Dog, I know we have all gone through this. Even the people that are married that have, like, I feel like this is just a common thing, and it just needs to stop.
There's nothing wrong with you guys not being married, but being serious. That's what we're gonna say.
Okay, we're not playing. It's not a Barney thing. Like, oh my
God. You know
clap,
what?
Clap, clap.
Shh. Anyways, so, like, part of this, I love it because it started with the whole, when you research about, like, plus ones for weddings, there's a whole hot debate on, like, the Facebook forums of, like, who do you allow for a plus one? And most people say the standard is if the person is with someone and they're engaged or married, then you can have them be a plus one. But then I come in and it bothered me because I would always be like, but if you're in a serious, committed, long-term relationship, that should also count. And a lot of people see this as well, but there's some people that are so, like, strict on the whole engaged or married thing, which is dumb. Because it's like, okay, for example, like, my best friend got married last year. And it's like, I mean, that's different because obviously, like, I was in it and, like, that whole thing. But, like, say, for example, okay, my best freaking friend of all people, and only I could go and you couldn't because we were engaged at that time. That would be bullshit. Like, complete and utter bullshit.
Well, it would be
like,
the
even
same...
if she wasn't friends with you as much as we are, like, even, okay, if things were different, but, like, still, even if it was, like, I'm the best friend and you're just, like, the person I'm with, still, it was, like, almost 4 years at that point.
But, I mean, it would be the same case for the wedding I went to the year before that, where It's like, now I have to drive to Pennsylvania, and I'm like, oh,
if you were by yourself, yeah, like, it would have been dumb. Because, like, I wasn't really friends with them. Like, it was your friend and, you know, all that. But, like, still, they recognize, oh, you know, like, it's serious. Because, like, I understand wanting to save money on, like, the whole plus ones and stuff if they're, like, frivolous. Like, if it's someone it's a very new relationship or it's someone who's in and out of relationships or, like, something like that, I get. But, like, you know, if it's been a couple years and you're keeping at it, like, that always irritated me. So that's the first thing. That's surface level. Would you like to take the next so we can bop back and forth?
Sure.
Okay.
So, oh man, just
we
the whole
guys.
episode of just issues I have when it comes to being in a relationship you've been in. Relax. My experience is different than yours. And it's like, it's so annoying. So here's an example, if I'm recalling this correctly, where I'm sitting there with my coworker and everything, and like this is one where we're preparing for a wedding, and she made like some comment of like, man, just wait until you have kids, or just wait until like this and that, like kind of undermining that like what you're going through isn't that serious and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And that bothered me so much. Like, what? Like, I feel like some people just automatically, like, right from the jump that are older. Sorry if you are older that understands this. Hey, you're a part of the group that understand that, yeah, this isn't right that you do this. Man, don't shame me because I'm sitting here doing something different, or I'm carrying on different than you. It's similar to how I'm saying, like, I feel like I'm not seen as an adult in the corporate world unless I'm married or have a kid. And it's like I sit there and I joke with you.
Status.
I joke with you, but I'm serious when it's like, man, wait, I'm gonna get married. They're gonna see the ring on my hand and instantly raise. Like, oh, you married now? You get a raise for that.
Right.
Oh, you have a kid now? Raise for that. Like, as if me being single or me being in a relationship, like, is something to like. Oh no, that's nothing. Like, what? I'm living my life just like you are. You having a partner that you have married to legally, and I mean being something that's not legal, but it's still something that's headed towards that way, does not make my relationship any less valid than yours.
Less valid.
And that is my issue. Is what I go through it with people sometimes, and it's like oh man, it's so annoying.
It's kind of similar what you're saying to. I hate the whole kid thing too, and that's like another tangent, but like when people say like you're not really tired until you have kids. And I think we've talked about this before where I talked to my doctor about that, and you know, she had a very good point that it's like, no, like it's just different tired.
Yeah.
It's not that you're not tired, like, because I'm over here like, bitch, I own a business. Like, I'm tired. You know what I mean? Like, and I have health issues and like whatever it is, like I'm going through. Yeah, I'm tired too. Mm-hmm. I'm not, you know, and I'm not over here saying, sure, that you getting less sleep sucks more. I get that on a consistent basis if you're never sleeping and all that, but I can sleep at night. Like, it's different. I get it, but it's different. That's all it is. It's not that, oh, I have no right to yawn until I have a child. You know what I mean? Like that. Oh, anyways.
And I'm trying to think if I've ever said this to anyone. Like, have like someone I see is going through something and like, oh man, just wait until this happens.
I feel like I have, but not about obviously this stuff. But like, I feel like I have, but then like, I don't know what it was about or who it was to.
And it's like, it's just sucky. Like, for example, like at work, another time at work, because of course that's where I spend most of my time. And it's like, I'm sitting here talking to a coworker, and they're like, man, I had to go and, you know, I had to take days off for my wife. She was sick and everything. And it sucks because, like, now those days are gone, and now I got to take some time off for myself just so I can have some time, just relax, step away, and all that. It's like, and essentially he was like, man, just wait until like that happens for you. And it's like nothing against it. Like, we didn't look at it as like it's anything wrong with you taking days off for your partner. It's just like, okay, now I need some time for me. But this person looked at it as like, me not being married is me not being like, not being in that situation before.
It's so dumb because actually, you know what I just thought of? You did that a few months ago.
Exactly.
When I woke up, we were supposed to go to the gym one morning, and it was 5 a.m, and I woke up and I could not freaking move. My back was killing me. I literally could not move without screaming in pain, and it just locked up. And therefore, I asked him, like, he obviously helped me, like, got me pills or heating pad or whatever I needed. And, like, I asked him, I think instead of calling out, you worked from home that day so that you didn't have to use a day. But still, he was supposed to go in like a normal day, and he did that for me. And it's the same exact situation. Sure, I wasn't in the hospital, like, what's, you know, she was maybe or whatever. But, like, it's the same thing. You know, like, if I'm over here and I wake up in the middle of the night and all of a sudden I'm throwing up every 2 minutes and I need to go to the hospital too, he'll do the same thing.
And it's like, I don't give off in these corporate settings. I don't give off that like I'm a kid, because like there's a guy in here that's like I think is like a year or two younger than me. Okay. I believe. And like he complains a lot. He gives me like very like kid vibes and all that stuff. Like he just got into a relationship and all that stuff. And like I'm like, you're making me look bad because I'm sitting here being like the second youngest person in the room with all these people that are 30, 40, 50. Like, dog, I'm sitting here professional. We can have a real conversation with me, like, and it's like you it's so annoying because it's like I feel like people don't see it as, man, this guy, like, he has his own place with the person he's with. You know, he's getting married, like I have a lot of things going, and this was before I worked there. It's not like I popped up and got the place. Like, I came in with this place. Like, hello.
Right. Oh, and another thing is, too, that I brought up to you before. I would like to mention, we have a mortgage, okay? We moved out together for the first time.
Let me also add to this. We're not trying to rent shame anyone.
No, but all I'm saying is, I'm for the pure fact of saying, okay, we both came from our parents' house and moved in together, the first people we'd ever moved in with, okay? We took a huge chance because we had never done this before, and everybody was worried for us because, you know, like, oh, this could end disastrously. Yeah. And when you take out a mortgage, it's just historically so much harder because with rent, you could wait a year and then just not renew your lease and you could leave if you need to. But, like, with mortgage, you got to sell it, you got to split it, whatever. So there's more weight to it in that fact. And also, it's just... both of our names are on it, so it was both of our credit and all that stuff. And it just was like, that was a sign of such commitment is the thing, you know, because it is literally a 30-year mortgage. It's long-term. It's just, you're like diving in, okay, like all the way instead of dipping your toes in. And so it's like, I had, ever since we got our place 3 years ago, I've always told people, because people, of course, they're always like, when are you going to get engaged, blah, 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 all that stuff. And I would always tell people, I'm like, oh, we're married just without the license. Like, and they totally understood what I meant by that because it's like, yeah, so not only did we get the mortgage, but then like almost a year later, we got the puppy, which is another commitment because even if we broke up, like someone has to take it now. Like that's a whole other thing. Like we have our own little family and our own little life. And like, it's very real. There's nothing fake about it. There's nothing like not legit about it, you know? So it's like, it's frustrating when it's like you go through all that. We were in our early 20s when we got this place, you know? And like, we took it seriously. And it leads to what I was saying in the last episode towards the end, how, this shit is not easy. Like, we've been through it. We almost broke up a couple times. Like, we have been through stuff of like what married people kind of warn us about. So they, you know, like, oh, for some reason people still think we're in the honeymoon phase. No, you're 5 years in. You're not in it.
What?
Like, right. Just because you're not married means you're in the honeymoon. No, God, no.
And we I would get that if we're not living together.
Right,
maybe.
Because then you're always like, I want to see you and I want to touch you and I want to,
I would get that,
and I want to call you.
I see
and like,
you every
it's
day,
different.
dog.
But yeah,
we fight.
We're you get on my last nerve. No, but it's like, it's true. So we've been through stuff where it's like, I think we've proven that we can make it, you know, and we can grow together and we can make this a lasting relationship and things like that. And but that goes back to like what you're saying. It's like, oh no, like you can't go through that until you're married. That doesn't make any sense because then, okay, think about it. People who get married like within the first year or something, okay? So you're telling me just because they're legally married, they're more legit than our 5-year relationship.
Yep.
It doesn't make sense. So you're telling me that this whole time we're just like not putting in any work. It's all easy peasy. We're only having fun and dating. There's no real world problems here. And we're just, cruising.
We went through the same issues that person that jumped in a year into that dating that person
could have
got
gone
married
through in the same amount of time.
Like,
yeah,
dog.
Just because they were married 2 years at that point versus us, like, you know, it doesn't change. It doesn't change. Like we were talking about after my bridal shower with my friend and her husband. Like we were saying the same exact thing that it's like because they've been married a year now and we were talking about it and they're like, yeah, like not, you know. It's nothing's changed because it literally doesn't. You're still you guys, you're whatever foundation you set up, and you're however the dynamics are, and you're growing however you are, and like it's just you're still gonna be who you are. It's just kind of like, okay, obviously it'd be stupid of me to think I'm marrying someone who has different traits than you, or that I think could be different, because that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Because I know who you are.
Yeah.
So it's like you're not idolizing something. You're like you're literally just legalizing it. Like it's literally literally it's like you're getting tax breaks, and you're I don't know, something else, and some people, because you don't even have to do this nowadays, you're changing your last name, but that's up to you. Like it's that's all it is. It's just a legality at that point.
And that's why I was so confused when my coworkers like, man, you'll have to go through that and all that stuff. I'm like, I already do.
Right.
And I literally said that in like a confused voice. I'm like, yeah, I already do. Like I'm lost here in what you're saying.
That frustrated me, because literally that is a few months ago. I remember when that happened, and it's like, and we trust each other and rely on each other. So that if if you, God forbid, say you got hit by a car or something, you were in a severe car accident. Okay, that's when I am like the emergency contact or whatever. I got to get called up. I have to go see you. I have to help you, whatever. Like, it's whether we were getting married or not. At this point, like when I would go in the Ulta stores and stuff, I always had to sign in the visitor thing. And there's an emergency contact section, and I would always put your name and number, because who else am I going to put? If you and I are living together, like, sure, I can put my parents, but it makes no sense, because one, you're more able-bodied, but two, like, we are in each other's lives more now, and like we're the day-to-day, and we see, okay, was this person okay? Like, say I left for work that morning and I really didn't look right or something, and then once I was in Ulta I fainted or something. Like, you would know that, but they wouldn't, like my parents, so it's annoying, because it's like we're the emergency contact, we're the beneficiary, like it's literally everything that you would be as a married couple. It's just we're not married yet. That's
so
all it is.
And I'm gonna say the thing with the kids, again, anyone that has kids, don't take this anyway when I say this, but that kind of also bothers me too, where it's like, oh man, just wait until you have kids. I totally understand kids are a lot, like, man, here you go, bringing someone into this world you have to take care of all the time. You're dedicated 24/7. Even when you're not around, you're still thinking about them, trying to hustle for them, all that. I get that, but there shouldn't be like some major thing where it's like, man, you don't have kids, you don't understand how hard life can be. Like, I feel like there's a lot of that shame happening, and it's frustrating to me.
I get it in the sense just because I have a lot of like childcare experience with like the nannying and daycare and all that different stuff. So yeah, I get it, because I was always happy for the fact that I could go home to no kids. So it's like, yeah, you guys get this, you deal with the night terrors, you deal with the crying, you deal with the dinner and all that stuff. Cool. So like I get it in that capacity, because yes, you're always on. I feel like it's a different type of on, because I feel like I'm always on with my business, but it's even different with a human child. So I get that. I get it's going to be different, but it's almost like it almost goes in hand with the shame thing of women, and if they don't want to have kids. It's because it's like, who told you I wanted them? Yeah. Or who told you I haven't tried and I can't have them? There's a whole spectrum here of things, like, because especially, I mean, we're young, but hey, let's face it, there's people that have had kids by our age. But like, say in 10 years, 10, 15 years, if we were still childless and people are like, the whole harassing you of when are you gonna and all this, and like, just wait and all this. And it's like, what if there's a problem there? There's a whole array of, again, kids are a tricky subject that should not be talked about unless it's like a super close like friend or family member, and you guys can like, go about it in a way that's comfortable and you can trust the person with your delicate emotions in that moment. 'Cause like, come on. But yeah, it's like I don't have to have kids if I don't want to.
Another thing to add with that, because you're saying kids, I would also add, stop asking people when they're going to get married. Like, that happens way too often. And we've talked about this
Oh my God,
past,
that
like,
happens
episode.
constantly for us.
And it's like,
God, I would literally visibly get annoyed with people, and they would know it. Like, I was to the point where I'm like, I'm so annoyed that people keep asking me this question because it's rude. Because again, who's saying we have to? 2, who's saying I don't want to? 3, what if we're having massive issues like we were, and I'm over here like, sure, I want that, but I don't know if we're going to break up right now, so thank you so much for asking that.
Yeah.
And, so there's that, and, like, it's this timeline. Like, I understand with kids, yes, technically with women there is a biological clock. Sure, I get it. You can't always get pregnant. But, like, with the whole marriage thing, like, okay, for example, there's an influencer I watch on YouTube, and I remember years ago, she has been with the same guy, I think, for 10 years now. I remember years ago, and people were like, harassing her, asking all this stuff, and she flat out said, she's like, I don't know if we're ever gonna, just because, like, we don't prioritize that as much, like, we don't see the need or whatever. And it's funny because, again, you don't know the meaning behind that. You don't know if there was issues, or you don't know if they were true about that. But then I think it was like a week ago, saw on her Instagram, they're engaged now. So it's like, it took 10 years, but that was their timeline. Like, 10 years, but I look at it as, if you're 10 years in and you're now taking the step to get married, you're good.
You know each other a lot.
You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's riskier if you're together for a very short amount of time and you jump into it, because I don't know, it's just now there's more pressure, and even though divorce is hard, it's seen as like, it's totally an option. I'm not saying it's not, because there are situations like abuse and stuff, like, you definitely should have an out, but, like, I don't know, it's just seen as, I don't know, like, I feel like you and I, because we've been together 5 years and we went through stuff where breakups are easier, like financially and whatever else, so we could have just called it quits easier than a marriage legally, but we chose to fight through it. And I feel like there's something to be said for that it's like you're good, like you're more solid, more like there's a foundation really laid there.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I just feel like you have things figured out. Of course, not everything. You still have to compromise, communicate, all that stuff. But I would much rather want to know more from the couple that's 10 years in, whether they're married or not,
right,
than someone that's 4 years in and, they got married 2 years into the relationship. It's like, that's cool and all, but you guys don't have enough experience. Like, 10 years with anyone is a crazy, like, thing to, like, go through certain things.
That's literally
just,
twice the amount we've been together. Like, it already feels like we've been together
like
forever. So, like, that's
a lot to spend 10 years with someone that knows, like, everything about you, has seen so many changes happen from this person they know.
Changes.
A lot changes in 10 years. Like,
I think I want to say they're probably around 32 or something like that. So they've been together, like, basically all the 20s and, like, went through all that.
Like, that is crazy to me. And I don't know. At the end of the day, I just really dislike, and I'm sure this is going to happen at least one more time leading up to the wedding, where someone's going to say something that's completely subjective.
Oh, I almost forgot the thing today. So I was working a wedding, and I was hanging out because I was already done, and the hairstylist was finishing up with the bride. And I don't know. Some of the bridesmaids were talking about how, God, I don't know what the subject was, but something about how you say stuff to your husband or whatever. Like, one of the bridesmaids was like, oh, I tell him, what was the phrase? Enough with that, or like, something like almost like a snippy remark to make like the husband shut up or whatever because he's being annoying, like something like that. And the hairstylist said, she's like, but you're still a newlywed. She's like, you shouldn't be, she's like, you still got time for that, or you shouldn't be going through that or something like that. And I had to bite my tongue because I knew we were going to talk tonight about this. But I was like, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Is, okay, great. They just got married. First of all, I don't know how long that bridesmaids has been with her husband.
Yeah, nothing changes.
But second of all, well, who are you to say how stuff progresses? Because you do realize there are some people in reality, they can get married and then like a week later start hating each other. Like that really does happen. Like there, so it's like there's all different dynamics.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm over here. So I'm over here, right? And I'm the engaged one. Because I'm talking, we're all saying different comments and whatever, like, oh, I get that, or whatever it is. And so when she said that, I thought to myself, and I'm like, so you probably think that I have no room to talk at all because I'm just engaged. And I'm like, I'm not putting down, like, if you guys have been like together 30 years or something, or 20 years or whatever it is, I'm not putting that down at all. So I'm not trying to say our 5 years is like superior or whatever, but it's like it has substance and it has value. And it's like, I'm not saying you haven't learned more or maybe you're wiser because sure, with age and wisdom and all that, but like
it comes down because that comment made no sense. It was just a stupid comment. I don't care about the age, how long you've been. It's stupid because that lady and her husband could have been together for 10 years. And she's just saying that.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
it's like, come on now. That was a stupid comment. Like, shut up.
It was something it was something like all of us women would probably say to our husbands, like, at some point, like,
I'll tell you, shut up.
Right.
You're annoying me.
Right. It's probably, it was something like that. And I was just like you would even say it to your boyfriend of like a year. You know what I'm saying? So like, I feel like it was just dumb. It was dumb. So.
Like, no, I'm not giving that person an out by saying, oh man, they've been in a relationship, been married with someone for however so they know more. It's like, no, it's just pretty stupid. Like, just because someone's a newlywed doesn't mean that it's like,
doesn't mean you're new in the relationship.
Exactly.
Like, hello. Because it's also funny because people say, oh, there's a honeymoon phase when you get married. And I'm like, but if you've been with the person for a long time, sure, you can feel la-di-da on the wedding day and maybe like the day after, like the afterglow and like all the fun you had and all that stuff. But like, you're still with the same person. Like still, you get back to life and it's life. You're still like working and doing the same things. And like after the honeymoon.
Watch. We'll give her an update or the recap of the wedding, like the following after it. Like, we still feel the same.
We'll be like, well, guys,
like
we're still here.
Nothing has changed.
I don't know. It's annoying. Like, don't put people down. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, it's just let people live the way they want to. If you never want to get married, kudos to you. Like, you don't have to. We're in a day. I was talking to a mother about that actually yesterday that I was working with. The bride was one of her daughters. Okay. So getting married. And then one of her daughters was in the process of like buying a house with the guy she's with and is newly pregnant. So she's going to have a baby in April and they're not married. And me and the mother were talking how it's like, it's two totally different situations, but they're both fine. Like, and she was saying how, like, she's like, yeah, I don't even know, like, if my other daughter will ever want to get married and all this stuff. And I was like, cool. I was like, and that's totally fine because in this day and age, just things have changed. And, as long as they're happy, then that's what matters. And, and she got it. And I don't know if she's just trying to shut me up or if she actually agreed, but, like.
And I'm going to totally support the couple that moves in first to, like, live together, all that stuff versus, like, you living with your parents, getting married, and moving out,
like the old days.
Like I just feel like that's a better proving ground
it's a
to
trial
know if you
run.
can be with that person, like just being in the space, like living together, seeing how that person is, like.
I'll never forget, because it was my guitar teacher in high school who told me that, because he had went through a divorce when I first started with him, and then he ended up getting with his now wife, and they're so much better, and they were living together before getting married, and he had done it with like other girlfriends in the past. And he said, he's like, you need to live with someone before marrying them, because that's when you really find out who they really are. Because there was one girlfriend from like probably when he was around our age, that they were together, they lived under the same roof maybe a year, and he just could not do it anymore. Like, it was just not gonna work.
Yeah.
And it's true. And I held that. That stuck with me. And I was like, it makes a lot of sense, because also what I've seen, with marriages and whatever of the, older generation, and how they move in when they get married. Yeah, it doesn't always work. I'm not saying it doesn't work. It could. But, yeah. So it's like, it's a smart idea, because, yeah, if we ended up hating each other, there was an out at least. An easier, of more financial, less legal, all that stuff out.
Yeah, I just think that's
Still
a smart
sucks,
decision.
but, yeah.
Like, when it comes down, like, yeah, when it comes down to, like, if I had to offer this advice to, like, my siblings or, like, our future kids or whatever, I would at least say, like, live together. Like, you don't know how that person is going to be. There's so many things that you don't think of that you have to compromise on, and, like, find, like, a workflow that works to make sure you have a house that is functioning in a way that you both would like to see it, function.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's hard to like conceptualize that when you're in it.
Yeah.
But when you're like, actually in the house, and you're living your day to day, going to work, talking about things, eating dinner, this and that, like grocery shopping, all this stuff, like you're living your life together. You're no longer like living at your family's house or
it's
house
really
you're at.
weird.
It's
Like
different.
to think about it. It's really weird how we went from, our one bedroom in our parents' house being confined to having like a whole place. And it's like, how does one do this? And so not only was it us moving out for the first time and figuring that out, but figuring it out together with, polarizing opposites at times. So it's like, it's very, but yeah. So we said what we said.
Pretty much.
Listen, just be nice to people. Let people live their life how they want to live it. Love each other. Yeah. And, peace and harmony.
I support all the couples that are going through it, and they're not, like, I'm sure you guys know, if you're in, like, the corporate setting, or or any place that you get, like, something from someone, can't even talk, and they're, like, saying, like, man, your relationship isn't valid until you get married. It's like, don't take that. Like, I would say at least stand up for yourself if it's not going to put you in a sticky situation, of course. Because I feel like people have like this old school mindset where if you're not married, you haven't been through what they've been through. And it's like, come on now. Like, I've been through what you've been through. Maybe I've been through more. Like, even though you've been married for, I don't know, 5-10 years on top of you being together for
and that's the thing.
Whatever.
Everybody's problems are different too. Like, everyone's going to go through something different.
Yeah.
And everyone is also going to think of it differently. So, like, one person might think something is a problem while the other might not. Yeah. So, like, every relationship is so different. But eventually y'all go through something.
Yep.
And it'll happen in different stages of life, because, like, even when we were in therapy and, they're talking about how, like, when you have kids, that's a whole other kind of realm of new stuff that could come up between us. Whether it's arguments or how we want to raise kids and like that kind of stuff. Like, it's,
just working on it. Just working through.
Or like, what was it? This Is Us. We were watching it, and you were like mad at Kate for getting mad at Toby because they were like exhausted over the new kid, and she took it out on him and all this stuff. And you're all like, but you could just talk about it. And like,
it's also my other part with that is the issue of him having to say sorry for him working out. Like,
no.
That's another part.
Hold on, sir. Let's be clear. Go ahead. He did not apologize for working out. He apologized for hiding it from her. There's a difference.
Still, nonetheless, F that.
You hiding stuff from me?
Dog, if I know you're going to get mad about me simply working out, I don't care to bring it up to start some problem. Like, let me go freaking work out. It's me literally working out, and I'm with someone that's going to get mad at that. And I get there's layers to that, but it's like, all right, you gotta sit back and think about that real quick.
Layers.
I don't know. That's just my thoughts.
That's a whole other thing, but yeah.
That's all I got for this episode. I'm not sure if we got anything else to throw at these people here. These lovely, lovely people.
Nah, that's it. I'm sure we'll have more eventually.
Yeah. As always, guys, I want to know your thoughts if you've been through this, if you understand what we're going through. We'll share it on the next episode. Let us know. You can shoot us an email through PagingTheSimpsons@gmail.com or send a voice message through Anchor, link in the description. We'll play it on the next episode. I'm just curious to know, like, are we the only ones that go through this? Share your thoughts, share your views, experiences, all that stuff. Man. With that being said, I'm not even going to go through the whole rate review stuff on iTunes. You know what it is.
5 stars.
I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. If you are indeed listening to this on a Friday, if you are not listening to this on the weekend, I hope you are enjoying your weekend. And with that being said,
isn't he cute covering all his bases?
We will see you guys next week. I am Shadell, co-host of Paging the Simpsons.
I thought you were gonna forget.
I almost did.
Wait,
I almost did.
Wait.
I'm Shadell, co-host of Paging the Simpsons. I'm joined by my lovely fiance,
Lauren, the still very valid fiance.
Lauren. And we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Peace out.